Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Nick at Barbed.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing 100% pure creatine hydrochloride from Fortress. So Fortress manufactures their supplements in upstate New York, and they're pretty well known for being relatively cheap compared to other supplement brands. And they've got a pretty wide variety of products as well. They've got fat burners, nitrous oxides, amino acids, and they've also got like 4 different kinds of protein powder. This is their creatine. It's a creatine hydrochloride actually, which is a pretty unusual form of creatine to consume in supplement form. And it's also pretty unusual in that you only need about 2 scoops of this, 2 small scoops of 1.5 grams of creatine all up. That's what they consider 1 serving size. So this here is lemon lime flavor. I'm going to see how it tastes with water. This is really pleasant actually. It has a very, very strong smell, the powder itself. So I was worried this was going to be really, really sour. But this is pretty pleasant. So this is it's flavored with sucralose, which is an artificial sweetener. It's also called Splenda. But it does have natural flavors. So it doesn't have any artificial flavors or colors, but it does have 1 artificial sweetener. And that blend, I gotta say, made it pretty pleasant. It's like old-fashioned lemonade. So let's take a close look at the ingredients list. The secondary ingredients are just natural flavors and sucralose, as I mentioned earlier. So there are no artificial flavors, there are no artificial colors, there are no anti-caking agents or anything like that. There also aren't extra carbohydrates or branching amino acids or anything like that. It's just natural flavors and sucralose, and of course the main ingredient, which is creatine hydrochloride. So what that is when you attach parts of hydrochloride molecules to creatine, and that lowers the pH of the creatine. That makes it more water soluble. It disperses in water much more effectively and easily than creatine monohydrate or hydrolyzed creatine monohydrate. What it also does is it can, for some people, reduce digestive distress. So there are quite a few people out there where consuming a good hit of creatine can produce stomach cramps and digestive discomfort. Anecdotally, and there's also some studies to suggest that it makes it more easy to digest. So that could be a good thing for some people with sensitive stomachs. The theory goes that because creatine hydrochloride is more water soluble, that means that more of it will absorb in the stomach and more of it will get to the muscles, so you need to consume less of it, which is why this is a very small serving size of just 1.5 grams for me as a 200-pound male. We don't have a ton of studies supporting that right now. There hasn't been many studies on creatine hydrochloride at all. There is one study that showed that when compared to creatine monohydrate, in the hours following consumption, there was significantly more creatine in plasma, in the blood, when you consume hydrochloride when compared to normal creatine. That doesn't necessarily mean that more of it was absorbed by the body. It may just mean that more of it went to the plasma and less of it went to the muscles. So that may mean it's more effective. It could also mean it's less effective. We don't really know. We just need a lot more studies on this to support the idea that you don't need as much creatine hydrochloride when you're supplementing with it. So as far as the price goes, this little tub here has 100 servings and it's going to cost about $14. So that comes to 14 cents per serving, or it comes to about 18.7 cents per gram of creatine because you get under a gram of creatine in each serving. So 18.7 cents per gram of creatine, that's pretty expensive compared to creatine monohydrate, which is typically like 3, 4, 5 cents per gram of creatine. But compared to other creatine hydrochlorides, this is actually very cheap. Fortress is pretty well known for being relatively cheap. And other creatine hydrochlorides, the leading brand is it's about 52 cents per gram of creatine. So 18.7 cents for a creatine hydrochloride is pretty cheap, but for creatine, it's pretty expensive. So there were quite a few things that I liked with the creatine hydrochloride from Fortress. It's creatine hydrochloride, so it disperses a lot more easily in fluid. None of it is piled to the bottom of the jar here. In addition to that, there is a lot of evidence to show that it can reduce digestive discomfort in people who have slightly sensitive stomachs, at least for creatine, which can cause cramps in a lot of people. In addition to that, there are no artificial flavors or colors, although there is 1 artificial sweetener, sucralose, but there's no acesulfame potassium, which is another pretty common artificial sweetener. It's in almost every supplement out there. It's also certified gluten-free, and it's certified good manufacturing practices, which means that in the facility in which it's made, they need to adhere to certain regulations that are enforced by the US Food and Drug Administration that are meant to help ensure product purity and reduce the odds of there being bad substances or impurities in the final product. So for people who are very concerned about product quality and purity and bad substances, the fact that it's certified GMP, that'll be pretty good news. There are a few things you might not be quite so crazy about with this product. The main thing is that it is pretty expensive compared to like just standard creatine monohydrate on a per gram basis. It really is significantly more expensive, several times more expensive than a lot of plain creatine monohydrate supplements. In addition to that, it does contain sucralose. Some people really don't like consuming sucralose. There's like some evidence that may interfere with the gut microbiome. Maybe, there's not, we don't really know, but some people really try and steer clear of Splenda, of sucralose. The other main thing is that this is creatine hydrochloride, and of course the product emphasizes that this is more effective than regular creatine, that it absorbs better, that you need less of it when compared to creatine monohydrate. There's just not really a lot of data supporting that right now. So personally, I'm not really convinced that you only need to have like 1.5 grams of creatine hydrochloride for every 5 grams of creatine monohydrate that you might consume. Personally, I think we need more studies. Okay, so those are my thoughts on 100% pure creatine hydrochloride from Body Fortress. For the full review, make sure you check out the link below at barben.com.